The massive Trellarian mothership drifted silently above Earth, its metallic hull gleaming like a polished knife against the deep blue backdrop of the planet. Inside the Global Defense Command Center in Seoul, Junho Park leaned forward, his fingers hovering over holographic displays that flickered with real-time data streams. "They're not even trying to be subtle," Junho muttered to Yoona Kim, who was adjusting complex communication systems with the precision of a surgeon. Outside the reinforced windows, advanced tracking systems mapped every microscopic movement of the alien vessel. The room buzzed with controlled tension. Military personnel from dozens of nations watched screens, their breathing synchronized in a strange rhythm of anticipation. Satellite feeds showed the alien craft, a behemoth that could easily swallow entire cities, its design a nightmare of curved metallic structures and pulsing energy signatures that defied standard physics. Junho remembered the briefings. Earth had been monitoring extraterrestrial signals for decades, but this was different. The Trellarians weren't sending messages or exploring. They were positioning themselves with calculated precision, like a predator sizing up its prey. Yoona's hand touched a specialized quantum communication device. "Initial scans are revealing something unusual," she said, her voice calm but laden with underlying excitement. "Their ship's energy signature doesn't match any previous alien technology we've encountered. Screens around the command center lit up with complex mathematical algorithms, breaking down the alien vessel's structural composition. Engineers and scientists from multiple disciplines worked together, their collaborative effort a testament to human adaptability." In the corner, a young technician named Dae-sung was monitoring unexpected electromagnetic fluctuations. His fingers danced across specialized sensing equipment, capturing minute details that most would overlook. The alien ship was breathing, not literally, but its energy patterns suggested a living, thinking mechanism. Suddenly, a transmission burst through communication channels. The alien language was a complex series of mathematical frequencies and harmonic tones that would have been incomprehensible to previous generations. But humanity had prepared. Advanced translation algorithms, developed through years of cryptographic research, began decoding the message. "Inhabitants of Earth," the translation began, "your planetary resources are required. Resistance is mathematically improbable." Junho couldn't help but chuckle. The arrogance was almost beautiful in its simplicity. Outside, military satellites and advanced defense platforms activated silent protocols. Orbital weapon systems, a combination of laser-based defense mechanisms and quantum-encrypted targeting systems, prepared without human intervention. Years of preparation had created an invisible shield around the planet. The Trellarian ship began emitting strange energy pulses, probing Earth's atmospheric defenses. Each pulse was met with calculated responses from human technology, not aggressive, but definitively protective. It was like watching two intelligent creatures sizing each other up, neither willing to make the first direct move. Yoona noticed something peculiar in the energy readings. "The ship's communication patterns suggest they're expecting a primitive response," she whispered. "They have no idea what we're capable of." Junho's smile was subtle but dangerous. Humanity had been preparing for this moment for generations. Every technological advancement, every research project, every seemingly random scientific exploration had been leading to this exact moment. The alien vessel continued its silent observation, massive and imposing. Its hull contained technologies beyond human comprehension, biological computing systems, energy manipulation capabilities that could theoretically destroy entire planetary systems. But what the Trellarians didn't understand was human innovation. That moment, watching the alien ship hover above Earth, humanity was not just defending itself. It was about to introduce itself to the galaxy in a way no one could predict. The first contact was about to begin, and nothing would ever be the same again. End of Part 1. The alien transmission crackled through global communication networks, a chilling declaration that echoed across continents. "Inhabitants of Earth, your civilization will surrender. Resistance is calculated as futile." In the Global Defense Command Center, Junho's fingers moved with lightning speed. Beside him, Yuna. Kim's eyes narrowed, her mind racing through countless potential scenarios. The room hummed with a peculiar energy, not fear, but something closer to anticipation. Daesung, the young technician, spotted something extraordinary in the communication patterns. The alien transmission wasn't just a simple message. It was a complex mathematical probe designed to analyze human response mechanisms. But humans had been preparing for far longer than the Trillarians could imagine. Across the world, specialized teams activated. In underground research facilities beneath Seoul, Tokyo, and Silicon Valley, teams of scientists and military strategists had been developing something unprecedented. This wasn't about traditional warfare. This was about outsmarting an enemy that believed itself intellectually superior. The first response came not from missiles or traditional weapons, but from something far more intricate. Quantum encrypted data streams began flooding the alien communication channels. Each packet was a carefully designed information virus, not meant to destroy, but to confuse and destabilize. Junho watched with a calculated smile as the alien ship's communication systems began to fluctuate. Their advanced technology, which had conquered countless civilizations, suddenly found itself confronted with something entirely unexpected: human creativity. In orbit, satellites designed to look like standard communication relays began transmitting complex mathematical sequences. To the Trillarian sensors, these looked like routine planetary communications. But each transmission was a carefully designed psychological weapon, slowly undermining the alien ship's computational integrity. Yuna's fingers danced across specialized interfaces. "They're trying to maintain communication integrity," she whispered. "But our algorithmic attacks are creating computational dissonance." The alien ship responded with increased energy pulses, a standard intimidation tactic that had worked on hundreds of civilizations. But humans were different. Where other species might have cowered, Earth's defenders saw an opportunity. Military drones, disguised as ordinary communication satellites, began surrounding the massive Trillarian vessel. Each drone was more than a simple machine. They were complex computational nodes, capable of adaptive learning and simultaneous multidimensional processing. Daesung noticed something fascinating. The alien ship's defensive systems were beginning to consume more energy fighting the information attacks than they would defending against traditional weapons. It was a bloodless war being fought in computational spaces most species couldn't even comprehend. Global communication networks, which the Trillarians assumed were primitive, were actually a sophisticated web of quantum encrypted channels. What appeared to be simple internet traffic was a complex defensive mechanism, each data packet a potential weapon. "They think we're going to fight physically," Junho muttered, "but we're fighting intellectually." The alien transmission changed tone, becoming more aggressive. "Immediate surrender is required. Your technological resistance is irrelevant." Yuna couldn't help but laugh. The arrogance was almost charming. Across different research facilities, teams were monitoring every microscopic change in the alien ship's systems. Military strategists, computer scientists, linguists, and mathematicians worked in perfect synchronization, a testament to human collaborative potential. The Trillarian ship began experiencing strange computational anomalies. Communication channels started generating random mathematical sequences that defied their computational models. It was as if the entire planet was a complex, living computational system designed to confuse and destabilize. What the aliens didn't understand was that humans had been preparing for first contact for generations. Every technological advancement, every research project, every seemingly random scientific exploration had been leading to this moment. The initial engagement wasn't about destruction. It was about sending a message. Humanity would not be an easy conquest. As the alien ship's systems began to destabilize, one thing became clear. This was going to be a very different kind of first contact. End of Part 2. The psychological warfare began subtly, like a whisper that gradually becomes a thunderous roar. Inside the Trillarian mothership, communication systems started experiencing inexplicable glitches that defied their most advanced computational models. Junho and Yuna watched with calculated precision as human-designed algorithms began infiltrating the alien ship's communication networks. It wasn't about destroying technology. It was about creating doubt, confusion, and psychological discomfort. The first wave of attacks came through unexpected channels. Cultural transmissions began flooding the alien communication systems, bizarre human media that seemed incomprehensible to the Trellarian computational logic. Viral dance videos, complex internet memes, random musical compositions, and fragmented communication streams that made absolutely no logical sense. Daesung discovered something fascinating. Each transmission was carefully designed to challenge the aliens' understanding of communication. Where the Trellarians expected linear, logical information exchange, humans introduced chaos, beautiful, unpredictable chaos. Global teams of psychologists, linguists, and computer engineers had spent years preparing this moment. They understood something profound about intelligence. True cognitive flexibility comes from embracing the unexpected. The alien ship's internal systems began experiencing strange anomalies. Computational loops started generating random, emotional responses, something the Trellarians had never encountered in their previous conquests. Their advanced AI couldn't process the sheer randomness of human cultural expression. Music from different global cultures began streaming through their communication channels, and traditional Korean folk music mixed with Brazilian samba. African drum beats intertwined with classical European compositions. To human ears, it was beautiful. To the alien systems, it was computational madness. Junho watched the alien ship's energy, signatures fluctuating. "They're trying to make sense of something that doesn't follow their logical framework," he explained to Yuna. Random mathematical sequences began appearing, some beautiful, some deliberately nonsensical. Complex equations that seemed to solve themselves, then immediately deconstruct into meaningless patterns. It was intellectual warfare at its most sophisticated level. The Trellarian leadership began experiencing something they had never encountered: cognitive dissonance. Their advanced computational systems, which had conquered hundreds of civilizations, suddenly found themselves overwhelmed by human creativity. Specialized teams had prepared for this moment. Every transmission was a carefully designed psychological weapon. Internet memes that challenged logical understanding, fragmented communication streams that seemed to have no purpose, cultural expressions that defied standard computational analysis. Alien crew members started experiencing strange psychological responses. Their collective consciousness, which relied on predictable information exchange, found itself confronted with something entirely unprecedented: human unpredictability. Yuna noticed something extraordinary happening. The alien ship's defensive systems were consuming more energy trying to understand human transmissions than they would defending against traditional weapons. It was a bloodless war fought in computational and psychological spaces. Global communication networks transformed into a sophisticated web of quantum-encrypted channels. What appeared to be simple internet traffic became a complex defensive mechanism, each data packet a potential psychological weapon. The Trellarian leadership received transmissions that seemed to deliberately challenge their understanding of intelligent communication. Complex internet jokes, philosophical paradoxes, artistic expressions that defied logical interpretation. Each transmission was a carefully designed psychological probe. Daesung monitored the alien ship's systems, watching as their computational integrity slowly began to fragment. "They're experiencing something beyond technological challenge," he whispered. "They're experiencing cultural shock. Humans weren't just defending themselves, they were introducing the galaxy to a new form of conflict, one where creativity, unpredictability, and cultural complexity became the most powerful weapons." The psychological warfare continued, each transmission a deliberate challenge to the aliens' understanding of intelligence, communication, and cultural expression. The Trellarians were about to learn a fundamental lesson about humanity. We are never, ever, a predictable species. Ende. Of Part 3. The Trellarian mothership hung in orbit like a wounded predator, its once impenetrable systems now riddled with computational uncertainty. What began as a confident invasion had transformed into a nightmare of psychological disintegration. Inside the Global Defense Command Center, Junho's fingers moved with surgical precision across holographic interfaces. Yuna watched nearby, her eyes reflecting a complex mixture of strategic calculation and something close to artistic appreciation. This wasn't just a battle, it was a performance of human innovation. Specialized drone swarms, disguised as routine communication satellites, began their synchronized assault. Each drone was more than a machine. They were adaptive computational nodes capable of learning and transforming faster than the alien systems could comprehend. The first wave of the unexpected assault targeted the Trellarian ship's quantum communication networks. Instead of traditional destructive methods, humans introduced something far more insidious: cognitive confusion algorithms that made the alien computational systems question their own logic. Daesung, monitoring the external systems, noticed something extraordinary. The alien defensive mechanisms were consuming exponentially more energy trying to understand human transmissions than they would defending against conventional attacks. Each computational probe was a carefully designed psychological weapon. Quantum encrypted, data streams began flooding alien communication channels. To the Trellarian sensors, these looked like routine planetary communications. But each transmission carried complex mathematical sequences designed to create computational dissonance. The assault wasn't about destruction, it was about demonstration. Humanity was showing the galaxy that technological superiority meant nothing against true cognitive flexibility. Global research teams had prepared for this moment for generations. Underground facilities in Seoul, Silicon Valley, and Tel Aviv had been developing something unprecedented, a way to fight that didn't involve traditional weapons. Specialized transmission waves began targeting the alien ship's internal communication systems. These weren't simple attack signals. They were complex cultural and mathematical paradoxes that challenged the very foundation of the Trellarian understanding of intelligence. Traditional military strategists would have launched missiles. Humans chose a different approach. They launched creativity. Random cultural transmissions began overwhelming the alien ship's communication systems. Traditional Korean folk music mixed with Brazilian carnival rhythms. Complex mathematical equations appeared and disappeared. Internet memes with deliberately nonsensical content flooded their computational networks. The Trellarian leadership experienced something they had never encountered: complete cognitive breakdown. Their advanced artificial intelligence, which had conquered hundreds of civilizations, found itself confronted with something entirely unpredictable: human creativity. Junho watched with a calculated smile as the alien ship's energy signatures began to destabilize. Each transmission was a carefully designed psychological probe, slowly undermining the alien computational integrity. Orbital defense platforms, which looked like standard communication satellites, began their synchronized assault. They weren't attacking physically, they were attacking the very concept of technological superiority. Yuna noticed the alien ship's internal systems experiencing strange computational loops. Where other civilizations would have been destroyed, humans were demonstrating something far more powerful: the ability to defeat an enemy without firing a single traditional weapon. The assault continued, each transmission a deliberate challenge to the aliens' understanding of intelligence, communication, and cultural complexity. Computational systems that had conquered entire star systems now found themselves overwhelmed by human unpredictability. Global communication networks transformed into a sophisticated weapon, each data packet a potential psychological attack. What appeared to be routine internet traffic became a complex defensive mechanism that challenged the very foundation of the alien invasion. The Trellarian ship began to drift, its once confident systems now fragmented and confused. They had come expecting a simple conquest, only to find themselves confronted with a species that fought with imagination, creativity, and an unprecedented understanding of psychological warfare. Humans weren't just defending their planet, They were introducing the galaxy to a new form of conflict, one where creativity became the most powerful weapon. The unexpected assault continued, each moment, her testament to human innovation and cognitive flexibility. End of Part 4. The silence after the Trellarian retreat was deafening. Across global defense centers, teams of scientists, military strategists, and communication experts watched as the massive alien mothership slowly drifted away from Earth's orbit, its once powerful systems now a fragmented shell of computational uncertainty. Junho stood near the primary communication console, his fingers hovering above a specialized quantum transmission device. Yuna approached, her eyes reflecting a complex mixture of triumph and contemplation. They both understood that this moment was more than just a victory. It was a message to the entire galaxy. Global communication networks began preparing a transmission that would be heard across multiple star systems. It wasn't a declaration of war, nor was it a threat. It was something far more powerful, a calculated demonstration of human potential. Daisung worked furiously on complex quantum encryption systems, ensuring that the message would be transmitted in a way that would be unmistakable to any advanced civilization monitoring the communication channels. The first transmission began as a series of mathematical sequences, beautiful, complex patterns that demonstrated human intellectual capabilities. Then came cultural transmissions, music, art, scientific discoveries, moments of human creativity that defied standard computational understanding. Images began streaming across galactic communication frequencies. They weren't scenes of military might or technological superiority. Instead, they showed the complexity of human existence, a child learning to walk, scientists solving complex problems, artists creating beauty, communities supporting each other. "We are here," the transmission began, not as a threat, but as a simple statement of existence. "We are watching. Choose wisely." Each communication packet was a carefully designed message. It wasn't about intimidation. It was about introducing humanity to the broader galactic community. The transmission carried an underlying message. We are not a species to be underestimated, but we are also not inherently aggressive. Research. Teams had spent years preparing this moment. The transmission wasn't just a message, it was a comprehensive introduction to human potential. Mathematical sequences demonstrated scientific understanding. Cultural transmissions showed emotional complexity. Artistic expressions revealed cognitive flexibility. Across different star systems, alien civilizations began receiving the transmission. Advanced computational systems worked to decode the complex communication, finding themselves challenged by its depth and complexity. The Trellarian defeat wasn't just a military loss. It was a comprehensive demonstration of human cognitive capabilities. Where other civilizations might have responded with immediate violence, humans had chosen a path of intellectual demonstration. Yuna noticed something extraordinary happening across global communication networks. The transmission was generating unprecedented levels of collaborative response. Scientific communities, artistic institutions, and communication experts were all contributing to this galactic introduction. Junho understood the deeper strategy. This wasn't just about defending Earth. It was about establishing humanity's position in the broader galactic community. The message was clear. We are intelligent, creative, and willing to defend ourselves, but we are also open to communication. Complex quantum encrypted channels began broadcasting additional information. Scientific discoveries, cultural achievements, moments of human collaboration and innovation. Each transmission a carefully designed representation of human potential. The galactic message continued, a beautiful, complex transmission that challenged every previous understanding of first contact. It wasn't a declaration of superiority, but an invitation to understanding. Alien civilizations began processing the transmission, their advanced computational systems working to comprehend its depth and complexity. What they discovered was something entirely unexpected, a species that fought with creativity, defended with intelligence, and communicated with unprecedented depth. As the transmission continued, it carried an underlying message that would echo across star systems. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and we would be understood on our own terms. The final part of the transmission was both a warning and an invitation. We are here. We are watching. Choose wisely. End of Part 5.